Okay, so today is a real cool 77-degree day. Now, at nighttime, it's a bit cold. Then, when it gets around 12 noon, the sun will come out, but it will still be a bit cool outside, which is my favorite weather. I am a jacket type of person. Sometimes people would ask me, how are you a jacket guy living in Cali? And I will always tell them, I don't know. However, they're not coats, big jackets. They're thin ones, the athletic ones. Also, the video I did about thirsty black men, the last one, the latest one, part 2.5. Did you guys know the female who allowed me to use that video is in the comment section saying she wants the video taken down because I allowed or I said some things or I encourage bullying. Like bullying? What? Actually, the whole video was about thirsty black men. And since you want to go there, I would not be taking the video down. I did not use any of your images. I just used your vocals because you said I can use them. Since my subscribers have been picking you apart, calling out that you were cursing in front of your child, you're not that attractive, this, that. Now you're saying, hey, you encourage bullying. No, if you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. If you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. So without any further ado, let's get into it.
President Trump's latest salvo in the immigration debate is a vow to end birthright citizenship, a 150-year-old law enshrined in the Constitution that grants U.S. citizenship to anybody born on U.S. soil. In an interview with Axios, Trump said he plans to sign an executive order ending the principle.
It was always told to me that you needed a constitutional amendment.
Right.
Guess
14th
what?
Amendment.
You don't.
You don't.
Many experts disagree, and the move would certainly face legal challenges. But what is birthright citizenship? And why has it become a flashpoint? We have the facts. Birthright citizenship was added to the Constitution in 1868. As the first sentence of the 14th Amendment, it states, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. The amendment was designed to grant citizenship to freed slaves following the Civil War. It reversed the 1857 Dred Scott decision, in which the Supreme Court ruled that slaves were not citizens, but property. In 1898, birthright citizenship was upheld by the Supreme Court. In United States v. Wong Kim Ark, the court affirmed U.S. citizenship of a man born to parents who were Chinese nationals. Since then, birthright citizenship has become a bedrock of U.S. immigration law. But critics contend it's been abused by undocumented immigrants and by pregnant women who visit the U.S. solely to give birth in the country, a practice called birth tourism. Obtaining U.S. citizenship and its benefits from public schooling to Social Security is the end goal for many parents. Russian women routinely fly to Florida to give birth, and Chinese women use birth tourism to avoid China's strict two-child-per-family policy. There's even an entire industry in China designed to coach pregnant women on how to deal with U.S. immigration authorities so they can enter the U.S. to give birth. Overall, U.S. citizenship was granted to about 275,000 babies born to undocumented immigrant parents in 2014. That's equivalent to 7% of the 4 million births in the U.S. that year. In the Axios interview, Trump incorrectly claimed the U.S. is the only nation in the world to grant birthright citizenship.
Now, how ridiculous. We're the only country in the world where a person comes in, has a baby, and the baby is essentially a citizen of the United States for 85 years with all of those benefits.
In fact, there are at least 30 countries that grant birthright citizenship, including the United States' neighbors, Canada, and Mexico.
I am in favor of revoking birthright citizenship to immigrant families who come here and have a baby just so the baby can be an American citizen. Okay, you're not supposed to do that. The law that they're exploiting is the 14th Amendment, where if you have a child in the United States, that child will become a U.S. citizen by birth. Okay, and that law was made specifically for Black slaves, so people couldn't come and take their children. Now you fast forward to today, that same very law is being exploited by undocumented immigrants to system racist? Or is it that there are some cultures who don't understand the law, who have absolutely no idea to find cracks in the law where they can help them and their people? I give the Latin community that. They found cracks in the law. They know that, hey, you guys can go inside of this country. The military can be standing right there and they can't do anything but stand there by law. They can't do anything. So now, since you have a whole Latin country that understands that, you have a huge chance of being invaded. So now what Trump is trying to do, he's saying, listen, constitutionally, I can't do exactly what I want to do. However, there are cracks in the law where I can at least put boots on the ground, maybe scare some of the people. And having children in America is big business. You get a lot of benefits having children in America, and immigrants understand this better than Americans. Why? Because they come from a country that don't have as many benefits and options as American citizens have. They understand this and they exploit it. Chinese women, they come to the US to have children, give birth to children. Hispanic women coming across the border, they do the same. And now you have this immigration crisis where if the parent gets sent back, the child will be put in child care, child protective custody, or an orphan, because the mother or the father or and both have to be deported back to their home of origin. And when that happens, that becomes a American issue, a people's issue. Okay. And then you have to deal with these guys when they get older, or these females when they get older. And it's a complete mess. And why isn't Mexico helping out even more? What is Mexico doing to help their people out? I hear their people talking a lot of stuff about Americans and how their people are being treated, but look how you treat your people in your country. The Central Americans are so bougie. They're like, I don't even want to stop in Mexico. I want to get out of Latin America. I want to go where the corporations are hiring undocumented immigrants and paying us under the table. And if we get on welfare, we'll be able to get eye, dental, health. When you go inside of these hospitals now, and my doctor is at Kaiser Permanente. So Kaiser Permanente has been my hospital since a teenager. Now, I haven't had the same doctor, but it's been my hospital. When you go inside of there now, a lot of immigrants are in there, can't speak English. Kaiser Permanente used to be at one point in time a hospital where you would walk in and it would be maybe 10, 15 people in the waiting room or something. You know, you'll be able to be brought in and seen quickly within an hour. Within an hour, or even 45 minutes, depending on the time you go in there. The earlier, the better. And now, since you have this huge immigration crisis, this huge healthcare crisis, you're seeing these hospitals that were once respectable being flooded. And I don't have a problem with immigration, okay, or immigrants, but as of now, the way the immigration system is being treated and done, something has to be done like yesterday. You don't have a country if you don't have borders, period. Period. And what's going on here, it looks like you are how can you survive as a country and you're bringing in lower class citizens? When you do it, and this is no disrespect to anyone or any culture. However, you're bringing in people that are doing low waging jobs, which is understandable. We do need visas. We do need people who are going to do certain type of jobs. That's not the problem. It's not looking down on them or a certain type of people or a person for doing that. That's not the point. The point is that you can't open your border to just anyone, a bunch of people who just want to walk over, right? And I do understand that you have people who don't agree with me. That's fine. We're not going to agree on everything. This idea that everything we talk about, we're going to agree on, we're not. And I don't believe that immigrants have the right to just come over into a country and give birth. Now, I understand there is a huge segment of the Hebrew Israelites that believe that Black Americans are the 12 tribes of Israel and the Hispanics are also. So they have a problem with this message because I do see some of them in the comment section, but they're inside other people's comments. No, bring it on out. You're a Hebrew Israelite. You're the chosen one. Come on out into the front. Don't hide in between people comment sections. Come on out. Say your piece. Because according to you that we're in the end times and we're all supposed to be waking up and getting all on one accord, right? And it looks like Black Americans are more on board than the Latin community. And based off of what you guys say, time is now. So what's taking them so long to wake up? And that's my issue. And I just call it how I see it. I'm calling it straight how I see it. And how I see it is that they are fighting for survival, okay? They are very, very tribal people, which they should be. All people should be tribal. But it just seems that the Black American has became a come on everyone. We accept everyone else's trash. And people aren't doing the same for you. Okay? And I would like for Black Americans to find cracks in the law so they can exploit them like every other culture is doing. These immigrant women, they come over here. I told you that Arnold Schwarzenegger had knocked up his housekeeper, knocked her up. And they come over here and they have these children, and their children are American citizens. Their children go to American schools, learn English, while the parents still haven't learned English. And it's going to be a point of time. And someone said it in the comment section. If America does not get a hold on this immigration crisis, because once those immigrants that are in that caravan are able to cross over into the American side of the border, that's going to greenlight every other immigrant in Latin America to come over. And then the gates will be flooded. And then they'll come over here, have children on American dollars. You guys better get serious about this. This is a serious situation. And again, I don't knock the hustle. They found ways to survive. They said, listen, I'm going to be in America 10 months. Being in America for 10 months and being kicked out is way better being in my home. There's nothing left in my home. The government sold us all out. So I understand the hustle. Don't get me wrong. I understand the hustle. This is not coming from a place of hate, because people will try to say, well, kid hate people. And, listen, man, if you feel a certain way, then that's the way you feel. It doesn't mean that you hate a certain type of person or people or whatever. Some people have standards. Some people have a certain way about going about things. Some people feel as though that you should follow the law. And if you at least follow the law, things will run smoothly. When you cut in line and you back up the immigration system, you're backing up the immigration system to where people who did it the right way, they have to wait. And now people are... Now, I want to say this. I do have a problem with Trump saying he is a nationalist. I have a problem with that. I do. If you don't have a problem with it, that's fine. You don't. I do. So, along with this immigration issue, I do feel in a way that Trump does want this country to be a white majority country, which is tribal. If you were a Black person, not a sellout, like Obama, and you are head of a nation, okay, you are going to want to see your people succeed the most. If they are growing in numbers, you're all for it. So being tribal is understandable. I understand that. But being racist and practicing racism is something totally different. And I'm not saying he's practicing. So don't come to the comment section and say that I said he was practicing. What I'm saying is he needs to make things more clearer. He's not. Based on the climate in this country. Now, he is very, very clear on immigration. I give him that. He makes sure he crosses T's and dot his I's on immigration, but he needs to do that on other subjects also. Because you do have a lot of white men out here doing things and they are Trump supporters. One guy that did some, I forgot what he did, but comes to find out he's a stripper. He was an ex-stripper. So you got people out here doing crazy things because they feel as though Trump is one way and he's not clearing it up. Okay. And then you have Obama out here campaigning for more Democrat politicians, and he's a part of the immigration problem also. But then he also screwed them because the El Salvadorians permit, they had a permit to stay in America for X amount of time, over 100,000. Has expired or is expiring. So you have a huge immigration crisis on your hand, and don't be surprised if the military will have to act. Even though the military can't do anything, they can sign something into law and say this is a crisis and this is the only way we will be able to handle this crisis. We are going to need the U.S. military to go inside of these homes and force people out, get them out by cuffs, handcuffs, drag them out. Wherever rat hole they are, we'll find them and drag them out.